guardians of the galaxy.
David.
And I'm Dan.
Dude, we just have one question.
Who was the first one in here today? And how long did you wait? All night? Thank you. We're not worthy.
All right. Introduce our characters, our actors. Here is John Bradley.
Next up we have Rose Leslie.
Christopher Kit Harrington.
Got Sophie Turner in the house.
Natalie Dormer.
Got a fella named J.R.R. Martin.
Maisie Williams.
Rory McCann.
Gwendolyn Christie.
Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
Pedro Pascal.
And finally, our excellent moderator, Craig Ferguson.
Thanks very much indeed for saying that, person who's not really telling the truth. I'm very happy to be here, everyone. Thank you, David and Dan, for introducing me last after these people camp out all night to see these people, and then at the very end, me. I thought you understood dramatic structure. It's very nice to be here. Welcome to Santiago, which, as we know, is as far south as south goes. Remember that? That's from season 2, isn't it? Far south. So I thought you guys knew about this. Welcome to the big one. Now, of course, we're all here to celebrate Game of Thrones. I understand that many of you people today will know this show better than I do. Of course, these people do, and certainly you will. I know there are people who are fluent in Dothraki out there right now, but remember, we're all on the same side. How often do you get to see each other at any point in all these different worlds that you exist? Do you guys ever get to hang out together?
In the bar.
In the bar? Is there a bar, like somewhere that isn't in the title sequence that pops out if you know the right place to go?
It's like the Star Wars bar, but it's Game of Thrones bar.
I can imagine it probably is.
Full of White Walkers and stuff.
The thing is, I'm surprised to see you here, Rory, given your what happened, and you know, as you were left on the mountainside.
Yeah, so well, I'm still sore, I can't believe it, I'm here just... Yeah, things weren't looking too good the last time I saw myself, so...
I thought he got off lightly.
Nasty bitch.
Which one, like me or her?
I believe I've been put between you. Very, very uncomfortable.
George, may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you began the creation of all of this world of Westeros and all of the attendant stories that happened around, did you envisage anyone to look like these people? Does it look like the world you first thought of? Does it feel like it?
Well, more or less, but of course not exactly. I mean, I started this in 1991, and the show, I didn't even have my first meeting with David and Dan until 2007, I believe it was. So there were like 16 years before the show was a twinkle in anyone's eye. And I had very strong pictures of what Westeros looked like and what the characters looked like. But these people have worked the characters to like, you know, amazingly.
Does it affect your writing sense when you watch the show and you continue to write? Does it inform what you do now?
Not really, because I do have those 16 years that sort of took deep root before the show came along. Sometimes it gets a little tricky, but the show is the show and the books are the books, and I try to keep them separate. I know a few of the actors have read the books, but many of them don't.
Can I ask which actors here were reading the books before they became cast members on the show? Is that something that you all do? Or not, as the case may be. It certainly isn't a prerequisite, obviously. There you are. You guys clearly were fans of the books, right? When did you first come in contact with them?
We first get the books 8 years ago.
And
That's a long time.
it is a long time. And how did you manage to get it going with, because clearly this is something that costs a great deal of money to put together. How did you manage to talk HBO into this?
First we had to talk George into it.
Right.
Sorry, because some of you have probably heard the story before, but we had a very long lunch with George where we told him what we wanted to do with the adaptation. And we had a 3-hour talk. At the very end of it, George said, okay, who is Jon Snow's real mother? And there was a very long pause, and I looked at Dan, and Dan looked at me, and we threw out a guess. And he didn't say yes or no, but he sort of nodded, and then he let us take the show.
Who is Jon Snow's real mother?
Mrs. Snow.
Could be, or else is... Oh, never mind. All right. Well, that's good. And so you shoot most of the time, and do you all shoot in Belfast all the time? Is that where you make everything?
No, we shoot in Belfast through the entire shooting season, but we also have other foreign locations which vary from year to year. This year it's going to be Croatia and Spain, and past years we've been in Malta and Morocco and Iceland.
The subject matter of the show can be, from time to time, quite controversial. Is that something that, sometimes you go to a conservative area, perhaps where they aren't happy, when they find out it's you guys that filmed that?
That happened this year.
Yes.
We lost the location.
I feel like, though, if the Bible thumpers stopped thumping the Bible for a minute and read it, they would see there's just as much incest in that.
We lost the location this year to a man who did not want his property to be involved with porn of thrones. So.
Please remember the views expressed by David Dan. No, they represent my own views for legal reasons. So, may I ask by show of hands who's still left alive in the cast? Let's see, yes. So we got about halfway. Do you, if I may ask first the actors who are still with us, does it concern you when you receive the scripts that, this may be it? Does it worry you that you...
Yeah, I mean, some of us know roughly what happens in the books to our characters, but I know that David and Dan have killed characters that are still alive in the books, and vice versa, so we never really know So I just suck up to both David and Dan and George. Just hope for the best, really.
The key lesson for the actors is never ask for a raise.
Seems like fair. Now, I think what we're going to do, I believe, is that we have some new cast members that you wanted to talk about as well. Is that right?
Sure, yeah, yes. We big season coming up, a whole bunch of new characters, and we thought they would say hello to you themselves, so.
Is that something that's going to happen now?
Or maybe.
I guess that happens now.
Some of the characters that you'll be getting attached to and watch die horribly over the next 18 months. I don't really want to take up a whole lot of time from this panel today, not giving you a chance to talk, because obviously there are a great many members of the cast here. So rather than me talking, I want to kind of throw it to the floor quite quickly so that we can get as many questions as possible for the fans who have waited, as you say, overnight. So can we start putting that together right away? And when you come up to ask a question, please identify yourself and speak coherently and loudly. Yes? Yes, David.
So, if you do us a favor and don't ask us what's going to happen next season.
Oh yeah, no, obviously there'll be no spoilers here. And also, if you do know what happens in the books and that you want to ask questions about stuff that hasn't reached that point in the series yet, grow up and don't. All right? That's right. Very good, everyone. We're all friends. We're all unsullied in a way, aren't we? I know I am. All right, sir. May I ask your name and what the question is?
My name is Rick, and my question is for Mr. Martin. As the creator of this universe, I'm wondering if there's any of the many gods or deities that you most closely associate yourself with, and if I may suggest one, perhaps the many-faced god, because you kill with utter impunity.
I have plenty of impunity. No, I don't think I choose any one god over the other. And my reputation for killing is exaggerated. As I like to point out, that David and Dan are far bloodier than I am, and they've killed a number of characters who are still alive in books. So you know, I may only be the second-ranked murderer here on the panel, but no, I think religion is an important part of the world and should be depicted, but I'm not about to endorse one Westerosi religion as true over the others.
There you are, then. George is the second best killer on the panel, apparently. Yes, may I ask what your name is? Young lady.
Hi, my name is Lila.
Hi, Lila.
Lila Matisse.
Are you Dothraki? You've got lovely hair.
Thank you. Maybe. My question is for Kit Harington.
He's got lovely hair.
Even though you know nothing, Jon Snow?
It's true. It's true.
I wanted to ask you, what do you do to prepare for your roles on the wall, you know, before battle scenes, also in freezing cold, and just what do you do beforehand to prepare?
I think with drones, it's weird, a lot of the work is done for you before you even get there. And I think a big part of that for me is costume. Because we have such wonderful costumes on this show that when I put it on, and it's got a certain weight to it, a certain sort of, gives a certain gravity, that I kind of, it's weird, I'm about to go back and start my first day on Monday, which is really exciting. I've got a great scene, but it's odd, I've just had my hair dyed and everything, and I get back into that costume, and it's very sort of, very grounding. That's kind of how I kind of fall into Jon Snow. It's not very exciting.
And the hair products, right?
Say again?
The hair products?
Hair products, yeah, many hair products.
Could ask the same of John and Rose, who are north of the wall with you as well. You guys, are you working in heavy costume? Is it always that cold? That do you have to act cold in those?
No, I mean we were in the northern part of Iceland for the majority of season 2 and 3, and so it was absolutely freezing. So there's very little acting involved when we were cold. But no, I mean there were times when we were shooting like -40. But we had these thermals underneath the costume, and so that definitely helped. And then you had a big black cloak on, so that helped. But no, it is beautiful, and it was mesmerising being in Iceland. But it kind of cold is. It kind of wakes you up and makes sure that you know.
Yeah, I don't envy you it at all. The same for you?
Yeah, I think that what this show really excels in is putting the actors into the same environment as the characters would find themselves. If the characters are that cold, we tend to be that cold. When we were in Iceland especially, we thought that we were walking on the ground. We were actually walking on 5 feet of compacted snow. So if you get my costume, which weighs a fair amount on its own, put me in it, which you know is never going to help anything, and then have me charging across a glacier being chased by a camera on a quad bike, chances are that by the end of the day I've been driven into the ground like a tent peg. and you know, people say, oh yeah, but those costumes must really keep you warm, and they do, but from the neck down. And as an actor, your tool, pardon the expression, is your face is your tool, which
not in America. It means something different here.
No, I understand. I'll reiterate Craig's sentiments. Grow up. But you find your performance completely compromised because you can't be subtle at all because your face is freezing up, literally freezing up. And at -35, you're at work and you think, okay, if I'm ever this cold again in my life, something's gone fairly badly wrong.
All right, there you go. May I ask, yes or no?
Hi, my name is Jacob.
Hi, Jacob. What's your question?
Well, I have so many questions for all of the...
yeah, but you only get one, Jacob. So put one in.
But my question is for the masterminds behind the show, George, David, and Dan. As the pacing of the show has really sped up and caught up with almost to where A Dance of Dragons is, how will you go forward planning this throughout the next few seasons and years? Will it surpass the books as far as the timeline, or which one will end first? Or are we going to wait?
Jacob, it's a fantastic question, and we can't answer without telling you what's going to happen. So, should we give Jacob an alternate question?
Yeah, you can ask one of the many other questions that you said you had, Jacob. So many questions you asked the one we can't answer!
Oh man, well, how is it working in all of the different sets, and how do you manage to bring together all these different stories, twisting and turning into one great arc that just has an epic feel to it, and it's a real world, it's a whole world.
Wow.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Yeah, how do you do it, actually?
Well, I mean, it all starts in George's mind. It all started in George's brain, how many years ago, George? 30 years ago?
1991, wasn't it, George?
30,
say that?
33 years ago?
Yeah.
And you know, those characters, every single character sitting up here at this table started out in some dark region of George's mind.
Can I ask you, George, because George, you named all the places in Westeros, why do they all sound a little bit like artisanal cheese farms? You got King's Landing, you've got Winterfell, you've got, all of them sound like they make a fairly decent cheese.
I like cheese.
Seems fair.
Fromage, yes. I don't know, naming things in fantasy is very hard. Not only do we have Westeros, but we recently came out with a map book where they wanted me to draw maps of the entire world, and we have the World of Ice and Fire coming out in October, which is like an importance. And I'm drawing up maps for places like thousands of miles to the east where the story will never go, and I'm just running out of names. But the Pointy Mountains, the Sharp and the Misty Mountains. No, Tolkien used the Misty Mountains. The really big mountains. You do the best you can. And
you're doing very well, George. I didn't mean you to think that was criticising. Yes, it looks like we have an emissary from another kingdom.
Yay!
Hello.
Guys, this question better be for me.
You know it. I'm Eric, this is Angie. First I want to say, do you know why all the world hates a Lannister? We all know why. My question is for Pedro. Can you describe the process of preparing for the big battle in episode 8?
You guys look amazing, by the way.
Yeah, you look very good. May I say, I think I speak about most of us here, Pedro, how delighted we are to see you intact.
The HBO team set me up with a master of wushu very early in the process, actually, and put me into some training with a guy named Master Hu in Los Angeles. And then, of course, I was on set in Belfast doing extensive rehearsals with C.C. Smith and the fight team, and Hapthor, the other actor. And I had an amazing time. I mean, come on, guys.
I could ask the same actually of Nikolai, Gwendolyn and Rory actually, and you're all a lot of fight scenes, a lot of very complicated and difficult looking fight scenes. Did you do that before the show? Is it a skill you learned in drama school? Or is it, are you actually swordy in your life?
Swordy? Yeah, I've always been really swordy. Yeah, I was just drawn to it when I was about 3-4 months old, and found I developed an aptitude with it, and then this part came up and it seemed like my whole life was
a natural fit.
Yeah. They train us really intensively. We work with an amazing stunt team, all of us, who are very patient and deal with us with a great deal of humour. Particularly me, who can be a bit slow. It takes a while for it to sink in. And you work hard, but it's always with the goal that you want it to be as brilliant as it possibly can be, and they facilitate that.
Yeah? Same for you, Nicholas?
Yes. I mean, I had a great teacher once called Dave Huckaday, who was just amazing. But that was years ago. He's in Leeds now. But apart from
in Leeds, you say?
Yes.
Right. You need a sword in Leeds?
You need a sword.
Yeah,
I do. But I think I was just going to say, because those two fights, what Gwen and Rory did, it was just, wasn't that just amazing?
Yeah, it was extraordinary.
I didn't go to drama college, didn't learn sword fighting, but I grew up in Glasgow, and we don't use swords, we use a thing called a chip.
Yes, I remember them well.
It's like a sword, but, you know, it's got nails at the end of the stick. You know. That seems to do the trick.
Yeah, I spoke to Gwen after your fight. She was in tears.
Sorry.
Beat her up.
She beat me up.
Yeah, I did.
Can I ask maybe further down with Natalie and Sophia, you get jealous of the sword play? Do you ever wish you could get a little more in the way of kind of brutal killing action going on?
Yeah, I would kill someone.
Yeah. Isn't she adorable?
Yeah, I was talking to Gwen just backstage about her fight. I thought, I'm a massive Rob Roy, that movie, there's a fight in Rob Roy.
Great fight.
It's a fantastic sword fighting. I was really into swords when I was in my 20s, so as Marjorie, I did get a bit frustrated when I first started, but she's proven to have other weapons. But I was just complimenting Gwen on that fight, because you can count on one hand, I think. When I watch films and see plays, I'm always really interested in the authenticity of the violence. And that's what's great about Game of Thrones violence, is that it's disturbing because it's so real and accurate, naturalistic. And I thought that was a particularly amazing fight. And I asked about the sword-holding moment, and you said that Cece, the stunt guy who created the fight, actually does love the film Rob Roy, and had nicked that moment of holding the sword and hand bleeding. That was a really nice nod, a nice reference. I thought it was an outstanding fight.
Natalie, we're the ones who ripped off Rob Roy, not Cece. We stole that moment from.
Sorry.
Just to clarify.
You were not supposed to tell anybody about that, but yes, exactly.
For legal reasons, they're just kidding.
It's the moment that Liam Neeson grabs the sword, and we totally stole it, and you weren't supposed to tell anyone that.
Well, the sword play is excellent, and may I ask, Maisie, could you point out on Rory where the heart is? There you are. You still got it. All right. Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Martin. Good afternoon, cast of Game of Thrones. My name is Gerald, and I'm here representing the Hall H posse. My question is for Mr. Martin and the cast. Mr. Martin, you populated the world of Westeros with many unique, wonderful, and terrifying people. When writing about the characters, when writing about the triumphs and tribulations of the characters, has that helped you discover something about yourself or help you overcome a real-life challenge? If so, can you share that with your fans? And to the cast, which cast in the show is most like you and why?
That's like 5 questions, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions. You know, you draw on yourself, particularly for the viewpoint characters. You may base them on people you know, on figures from history, on your imagination, but ultimately to make a character come alive when you're writing from inside them, you have to delve into yourself. Fortunately, you know, I am large, I contain multitudes, as I think Walt Whitman said, always steal from the best. So a lot of different characters can be pulled from inside one. I'm different from many of the characters. I've never been an exiled princess or a dwarf or an 8-year-old girl, but I think the common humanity unites all these characters, and we all have that in common. That's what I try to draw on when creating characters.
Are you a student of history, George? You study European history? Yeah, because it seems like there are echoes of a lot of European, you know, the wall and a lot of the, you know, the way that the world is put together is very like, you know, from I guess early European on. Is it something that fascinated you?
A lot of Game of Thrones is stolen from your Scottish history.
I know.
Particularly bloody and dispiriting history that you have there up in Scotland.
Yeah, well, I live in LA.
I love the Black Dinner and the Glencoe Massacre.
Yeah.
Both of those for the Red Wedding.
Good times. All right. Why, we have a crew. We have a crew. Hello.
My name is John, and
no kidding. Yeah.
My question is for Rose and Kit. What do you think was going on through the heads of your characters when they saw each other again at the Battle of the Wall?
That is a great question and a brilliant outfit. Congratulations, brother. That's great. Well done. I don't know. I think it was an important moment for us. I think it was. I think what I wanted to try and capture is that he's just very happy to see her again. Really, at the heart of it. After everything that's happened, he doesn't really care in some ways if that arrow is loose till he dies. He got to see her one last time, and I think that moment is obviously broken with what happens next. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful moment for him. It's quite a profound silence. There's a silence there that we wanted to get, I think.
But I agree.
Thanks, man.
But it's very true. I mean, I think that there was that silence that you were talking about, that it became very profound. And I think certainly for Ygritte throughout season 4, you know, she was on a ruthless mission and she was going to get her own back with Jon Snow. And I don't think she at all anticipated just how much she loved him and just that hesitation seeing him again completely through her. And I don't think she foresaw that at all. And of course that was, you know, her last kind of breath, as it were. But yeah, no, it was a very beautiful moment. And we didn't really want to discuss much about it on the day when we shot it. We kind of just wanted to see how it would organically kind of flow.
Very nice.
So are you!
Yes, gentlemen in alarmingly ordinary clothing.
Thank you. Hi, Natalie and the rest of the cast.
I wonder who your question's for.
My question's for George. The one thing I've always wanted to ask you for years is, Hodor?
Hodor.
That's it.
Hodor. Yes, now I feel a little more comfortable. Well, hello to you. Hi, what's your question, girlfriend?
Hi, my name is Dan. My question is for Dan and Dave. Now that Stannis has arrived at the Wall, can we look for more scenes developing his character for Stannis the Manus?
I think we can say yes.
Oh yeah.
In violation of our early, yes, we can say yes. You can.
Because I was going to say, then you would have to say about what was going to happen.
Well, we can say he's a fascinating character, and it's amazingly well drawn by Stephen Delane, and we will be taking advantage of both the character and the actor in the season.
I'd be careful about that woman who's with him, though. She worries me.
So
it doesn't worry you?
She has her moments.
She worries me. I don't think she's over about being good at all.
Or any of us, really.
Door. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question is for George. I was wondering, with the show getting close to catching up with the books, what would you say to fans who are planning to stop watching the show once it gets into content from books 6 and 7, so that they can experience the story in its true format? Would you encourage us to just watch the show anyways, or would you encourage us to wait until the books comes out and then watch the show?
Yes, I encourage everyone to watch the show.
We'd like to announce we're here to ask you to stop watching the show until we're ready for you to start again.
I do also encourage people to read the books. Reading the books is good. You know, the question of, so you can experience the story in its true form, is kind of a loaded one. You know, I've said a couple times in posts the riddle, how many children does Scarlett O'Hara have? Scarlett O'Hara has 3 children in Margaret Mitchell's novel. Scarlett O'Hara has 1 child in the classic movie Gone with the Wind. How many children does Scarlett O'Hara have? What's the true story? Of course, the true story is Scarlett O'Hara has no children because she never existed. She's a fictional character, and there are 2 wonderful classic ways of telling the story, and you know, that may be the situation. That is the situation with the show is the show, and the book is the book. You know, who did Robb Stark marry? Did she marry a noble woman from Volantis named Talisa, who died at the Red Wedding, or did he marry a woman named Jane Westerling, who's still alive and will be seen in the prologue of Winds of Winter? Is one true? Is one not true? Well, how many children did Scarlett O'Hara have?